This is a 2018 Princess 49. It's a flybridge boat. And the reason I want to show you this is to demonstrate just how much they've got into this sub 50-foot boat. It's quite incredible, the accommodation and the layout generally. So we'll take a look on board. We're going to start back here at the bathing platform. Now this is a high-low platform, and interestingly, you can see how it is slightly deployed at the minute. So normally this would be level with this, and you can see how it drops down into the water. There's a mechanism, you might be able to see it. If I put the camera here, down underneath, and that's what powers it down and in and allows you to launch a tender. And the tender would sit on these wooden chocks here. I do like the way they've put this little embossed princess crown just there. That's rather nice. So that's where your tender sits. Drop that in the water, float it off. Very easy. But let's take a look on board, because there's a lot to look at on this one, and it's very nicely done. This, just as we go past, is a transom shower, and that I believe is a letterbox passerelle, so that will extend out and give you access onto a quay if you're stern to berthed. Very princess with all this teak and this lovely solid chunky stainless steel. You know as soon as you come on board this is a quality item. These here are the controls for the high-low platform, and yes, that's the passerelle controls there, so that is what that is. Now there's normally of course cushions that go on here, but it's the middle of winter. They've all been taken off to keep them nice and dry and protected. There's a couple of more things I want to show you though in this area. This is rather nifty. That is a big locker that you can put a life raft in. So it's tucked away, but easy to get at. And over here, talking of safety, if I move Jack Lassac over to that side, this is a manual backup bilge pump system. There's electric pumps on here as well, of course. That's a diverter valve, so you can decide where to pump from. These are fuel valves for the generator and the port and starboard engine. So if you need to stop those in a hurry, you can stop them there. And finally, it has automatic fire extinguishers, but that's a manual pull. So if you needed to set those off, then you could do. So that's basically like a safety locker, effectively. And that little fur just above it, that is the Fusion Hi-Fi for this area. And then you've got lighting here as well for the cockpit. And that's these lights down underneath here. And also, if I flick that one on, you'll see there are overhead lights as well. So that's rather nice. And then on the other side, that is just a little bit of storage in that one. Just taking advantage of that bit of space. Let's have a look inside. I like the woodwork in this. It's quite a light wood, but it's high gloss, so you normally tend to get the matte finish with the light woods, but this actually is pretty classy. Now it's a galley aft layout, and it's a decent size. Again, you've got to remember this is a sub 50-foot boat. It's a Princess 49, but actually that's a very nice sized galley, and you've got things like, of course, your fridge is in there. It's all electric cooking. So 3-burner hob, and you've got a combination oven. This is just a big drawer for pans, but I'm pretty sure you can actually fit a small dishwasher in there if you wanted to, so that could be retrofitted. And then this is just storage. There's a bin in there, and then all these down here, of course, are all storage. However, what they've done is utilised this side as well. So again, loads more storage. So if you're away for a couple of weeks, you've got plenty of room to put things. They've also fitted another fridge, which is not in that one. It's in that one. That's just more storage, and your AV equipment is in there as well. It's got a Harman Kardon system linked to the TV, and you get more here for your various bottles and bits and pieces. So that's, I suppose you could argue, more like a bar area, but it certainly gives you extra galley space if you need it. One feature which I think is very princess is under here, because look at the way they've integrated all of the crockery, all held into place with these little fellas, so it all stays nicely put, but it's there immediately so you can get to it straight from the galley. I think that's very nice. And a couple of steps up and you've got the saloon area, big social seating area right across the boat. There's a pop-up TV over here. In fact, I'll show it to you. If I push that button there we go, that rises up very smoothly from there. Everything you touch and operate, it just feels like a quality job. This next to it, incidentally, is the air conditioning system, so that's heating and cooling. There we go, that is the TV in place thusly. Big deep seats on both sides, again very princess with this little coffee table unit. And you've also got windows that drop all the way down. We've got the blinds down at the minute, but you can see from that front one how that comes right down and low, so you've got a great view out of here. Your lower helm is here as well. That's on this side. Twin seats. It's an IPS controlled boat, so you've got an IPS joystick controller here. That's for when you are close quarters manoeuvring in a marina, for example. You can push that the way that you want the boat to go. So you push it sideways or forwards, and the whole boat will react. When you're out at sea, of course, you just use your throttles here. So you push them forward into gear and then throttle up. That's trim tab controls are on here, VHF radio. What else have we got? Oh, one thing that's interesting is this boat's actually got a seakeeper on it. That's this fella here. And in fact, you can see that little picture, hopefully, demonstrates what that is. It's a very, very fast gyro, spins at enormous speed, and that allows the system to push against it to level the boat. So as it rocks, it holds it dead steady. Bow thruster controls on here, and then wipers and lights, power winch, and so on. And then you've got a screen here, currently showing engine instrumentation, but you can configure this however you want. So you could go to charts, for example, and display on there what you like. There is space, in fact, for another screen there, so if you want to have two simultaneous screens running, then you can do. Let's go down to the lower deck. What we've got here, in fact, is the switch panel for the boat, all beautifully lit. So your 24-volt power systems are here, so it's things like your lights and your pumps and navigation instruments. They're all controlled from here. Battery switches are on here as well, engine start and domestic. Then over here is the 230-volt power distribution. So this is powering things like that Seakeeper, the barbecue, the microwave, all the stuff that works off 230 or 240-volt equipment. That runs from there, and that is fed from either shore power, if you're plugged into a marina through a cable, or it has a generator on board. You can run it from that. And the start-stop for that is up here. So that's all nice and simple to operate. Let's head down a bit further. Now what we have on here is a VIP guest cabin. In fact, when I looked on here earlier, I did think it was just the owner's cabin, but it's not. I'll show you that in a moment, of course. But it is a very generously and nicely proportioned cabin. Let's go right on in. So we've got things like storage in behind here. There's a nice little dressing table area they've put in there. This, of course, is all storage up here as well. There's a hatch overhead, that's up onto the foredeck. Drawers are under the bed, like so. And on this side is a wardrobe. And that flight case is all the instruction books for the boat. And in fact, another thing I'll mention is these little fellas here. I don't know whether I can open that. Yeah, that is to get you to all the systems that are behind the scenes. And again, it's very Princess. It means that if you ever have any issues with the boat, people can get to what they need to get to. It's not all buried and forgotten. That's very good indeed. AV system in here. So there's a fusion system just there. And then a TV on the wall, like so. That's another of those air conditioning controls, and that's the light switch. Now what you do have in here as well is ensuite access. That's actually the day heads, but it is ensuite from this cabin. So that doorway there takes you back into the passageway, so it can be used during the day. Very, very nice, and very, very Princess. Good size. And as well as the day heads, that is shared. You can see that's the other door. By this one, this is cabin 3. So you've actually got two really good guest cabins. This one, as you can see, is bunks, but they're adult size. And that is a decent sized room, actually. If I go into there, you can see tons of headroom up ahead. And you've got then, again, storage in places like this and up and behind here. That panel there, you can see it's got a little clip on it. That's so you can get to the back of the helm. Again, any problems with the electronics, or if you're doing upgrades or so on, it's all get-attable. A lot of thought gone into these boats. And then that finally is another wardrobe just there. So that's for your guests. What about the owner? Well, let's head on back a little bit further and we will find this, which is a full beam master cabin. How nice is that? We've got a nice little seat in here as well. Big windows in the hull. Let's see if I can show you those. Let's give that a little pull and hopefully, yeah, there we go. With a beautiful view of boats.co.uk's boatyard at the moment, but obviously once you've bought it, you'd probably park it somewhere a little more salubrious. No offence to boats.co.uk, of course it's a lovely boatyard. And that is a lovely cabin, isn't it? TV built in, as you can see over there, and then on this side it's all storage. So massive hanging locker, and then this is a little dressing area, and then these of course are all drawers across the front of here. I won't open them all. I think we can probably work out what the rest of them look like. So that is that cabin, and as you'd expect, this has its own ensuite, and that's over here. So sliding door on this one, a pocket door I believe they're officially called, and there it is. Separate shower area again. Very nice indeed, and again, loads of storage. But it is beautifully finished, isn't it? Love all this. God. I'm just going to stop that buzzing. We're okay, we're fine. Honestly, don't worry about us. There we are. Seamless, wasn't it? Seamless. I'll edit that out. Or maybe I won't. There we go. What else have we got in here? The other thing to show you is down here, because there's a big locker there, big enough, I think I'm right in saying, to take a washing machine. So that would be a useful thing if you wanted to stay on the boat for long periods of time. But very nice, isn't it? Very princess, and very easy to forget that you are in a sub 50-foot boat. I should point out the actual length overall with the bathing platform and the anchor and everything is probably a touch more, but they call it the Princess 49, so that's the way that we'll look at it. Okay, let's go and take a look around the outside. Pop my shoes back on. There we go, and we'll start on this side first of all, I think. Nice thick rails on here. You've got your Princess 49 logo on the side, of course, and another rail up here, which is great to hold on to as you work your way forward. It feels very safe because this rail, it's almost waist height. It comes right up here, which is fantastic. And up onto the front, you can have sunbathing cushions on here. That's what these little clips are for, and those tracks on the front. That's that hatch over the forward cabin, and then right up at the front, anchor handling kit. So the anchor winch buttons, and in here is not just the anchor chain locker, but also you can see we've got fender storage in here as well, so that's quite nifty. Very good. Let's go on down this side. That's your waste tank, so your holding tank can be evacuated. And we come on further back, water filler, so that's where you put your fresh water in, and then diesel tank on this side. There should be one on the other side as well, because it will have twin tanks. Back to here, and we will find some steps up to the flybridge. Now again, it's very much in winter mode because it's in storage at the minute, so all of the cushions that aren't covered are off at the moment. You can put covers over them, of course, that's what these little clips here are for, but during the winter it's not a bad idea to remove them completely, so that's what's been done here. There's a wet bar underneath this cover. That's the sort of cover that would go over these if you had your seating in place. And then similar here, seating all the way around the back. There's a table here, and of course a helm position as well, so this is where you drive the boat from on a nice day. And all this metalwork around here, that's a bimini top, so that lifts up into place, and there's a big fabric cover that comes across to shade this whole area, so if you're somewhere hot, then you've got a bit of shade up here. Quite a commanding view, isn't it? Very nice. Let's go and take a look at the engines. No crew cabin on this one because it's very much an owner-operator size of boat, but what we do have is some great engine access down through here. Okay, so there's a storage area here as the first thing that we reach. And in fact, this one's been shelved out, as you can see. That's quite neat. There's a box in here to put things in. There's a camera in here as well, actually, so that you can keep an eye on the engines. These down here are all the air conditioning systems. Again, very Princess, the way that's all racked out. That looks good. And this fella in the centre, this is the gyroscopic stabiliser that I mentioned when we were at the Helm. That lives inside that box there. Generator is on that side. And if I turn right round, we will find the engines, which are a pair of D8 IPS 700s. They are in fact 550 horsepower each. They're going to give the boat probably about 30 knots, I would think, flat out. Cruising there for 20 to 25 knots on a range, I guess 200, 250 miles, something of that order. But very Princess. It's well lit, it's easy to get at, and it's very clean in here, isn't it? Very nice indeed. It's IPS pod drive. Interestingly, what they've done is they put the pods further back, but the engines are further forward. You see these covers here? These go over jack shafts. The pods are right at the back, right down there. And the reason they've done that is to put the weight of the engines further towards the centre of the boat, and that helps the seakeeping, because of course if you keep the weight more towards the centre, the boat is much better balanced for it. Fantastic. I think we've pretty much covered it. Let's come out of here. And we'll drop that fellow back down. And let's go up here. We'll put that TV down while I think about it. There we are. It can retract behind me while I say thank you to boats.uk for organising that tour. They've got this one for sale. And thank you to you guys as ever for watching. We'll catch you on another one very soon. Bye bye to you and bye bye to the television. Bye bye.